All right, so there's a common question. Everyone wants to know, what in the world does a real estate wholesaler make? There's a huge misconception that only wholesalers can only make $1,000 or $2,000 to assign a contract. In this video, I'm gonna tell you exactly how much money do real estate wholesalers make. All right, so I'm gonna give you a sneak peek, like several transactions that I've done. That way you see what a beginning real estate wholesaler makes, all the way evolving to a professional wholesaler makes after 14 years of experience. All right, so definitely make sure you stay tuned to the very end. And I'm gonna show you a path that someone can walk your hand, guide you step by step of how you too can do it as well and compress time frames and explode your real estate business. All right, so it's 2007, just got my real estate license, and I thought that I needed a real estate license to be a successful real estate investor. I purchased my first rental property. I was the buyer's agent for it. I actually got paid a commission to buy this first property. And back in 2007, you pretty much just needed a pulse and a job to buy a house. So I was cutting my teeth. I was getting my education, and I went through the dumps with this. I went through the gutter. I've always heard the road to success is through the gutter. Well, ultimately, I was drugged through the gutter, I think 2 or 3 times on just this one property. And then I took a little break from 2007 to 2013 buying houses. I got back into the game in 2013, bought a bank-owned foreclosure and started renting out the rooms. I was actually house hacking before Bigger Pockets made it like a coined term. I didn't even realize that's what it was called. But I was renting out the rooms and I was paying the mortgage, paying all the expenses, and still had a couple $100s a month left over. And I was able to do a quick cash out refi within a first couple months of owning this house, and I pulled $55,000 out and purchased a third rental property with that. So the point of my story is, I didn't start out wholesaling. I actually started out with rental properties, but I found myself in a great leverage position. And when I say great leverage, I mean not a very good position for me. I had leveraged a lot of money and bought 3 properties with it. I was maxed out. My credit cards were maxed out. The banks were ready to get paid, and I was starting to get behind on payments because I had some other expenses that came upon me that I was not tracking. And then I had a tenant trash my house over here. So it was rough times. I got my education right off the bat, and then I had to make some money really quickly at the end of 2013. So I stumbled upon wholesaling houses because I heard that it was easy to get started. You didn't need money. You didn't need credit to get started. And it's a good thing I didn't need credit because my credit was getting ruined because I was getting behind on my bills. So how did I pull myself out? I pulled myself out by becoming a crazy successful wholesaler, taking crazy massive action. So I find a list on PropStream and I start mailing this list of notice of defaults. These are people that are behind on their mortgages. These are people that are not paying their mortgage and they're about to get kicked out of their home. So I got the list, I downloaded the list, I printed it off, and I literally drove house to house to house and knocked on these doors and left a sticky note saying, "Hey, my name's Brent. I'd like to buy your house." I did about 12 notes and I got one call from a guy saying, "Hey, I gave up a long time ago. I'm getting kicked out in 7 days. Come look at the house, come buy it if you want." So I spun around and then drove straight to this house and figured out a way to help this guy. I went in there as, how do I serve this guy? And found out that he owed about $150,000 on the house. And I said, "Hey, would you take what you owe for it?" Because I was so out of my league. I'd never done this before. I really didn't understand what the house was even worth. Luckily, it was actually worth way over $150,000. This guy just threw his hands in the air. So he said, "Sure." So we went under contract that night. I pulled the contract offline, went under contract, and literally took this contract to a title company and opened up a title policy. Now, granted, I was watching YouTube, I was listening to actual podcasts, and I'd also taken some courses. So I'd kind of gotten a little bit of a real estate education already. I didn't just dream this stuff up. I'd already been taking courses and getting education, but my problem was I wasn't taking action. So now I'm taking action, now I'm getting results, now I'm really getting a solid education that's about to pay me. So I put this house on Craigslist and I get a response within like a day. And a gentleman that buys 4-bedroom, 3-bath houses was interested in this property and he purchases it for $155,000. I made a quick $5,000 net profit. Now, granted, I also took some of that money. I took $600 cash and handed the seller an envelope at closing because he thought he was getting nothing. He thought he was getting kicked out of the house, and he ultimately took that $600 and moved back in with his mom. All right, let's talk about deal number 2, what I made on the second deal. So deal number 2 spawned from deal number 1. I actually had another wholesaler that was brand new reach out to me from the Craigslist ad that I had posted on Craigslist for that first property. She contacted me. Her name was Tanya. She said, hey, Brent, I got a house down the street from the one you got in Palm Bay. It's actually in Sebastian. It's actually the next county over. And she goes, would you be interested in helping me wholesale it? We'll split the fee. And I didn't even know what joint venture was or co-wholesaling was, but I said, absolutely, I got a buyer's list. So I called my previous buyer, and he said, no, I don't want it, but my title agent might. So I call her. Her name was Renee. Renee said, absolutely, I'll take it. So we got Renee to agree to a $149,000 purchase price, and Tanya had this house under contract for $140,000. So once again, I'm about to make a $4,500 net profit on a property I'd never even seen before. So the first one was $4,500. The second was actually $9,000, but I split it with Tanya, so I got $4,500 cash on that. Those were my first 2 wholesale deals. Let me fast forward a few years, what we're doing every single day. Our average assignment fee is $42,000 assignment fee. So I mentioned my average assignment fee of $42,000. I didn't just get here overnight. I'm gonna explain some of the steps I took to get there. But before I do, I want you to subscribe to this channel. Definitely hit that subscribe button. It's gonna bring you great luck. You're gonna get notified every time I come out with more content. And I'm not the only guy on YouTube talking about everything we do in my company as far as what we're doing with land. I mean, I run a very successful coaching course called the Land Sharks, and we also teach people how to do this. All right, well, let's talk about the steps that it took to get to where we're at today. I mean, it literally took me and my wife, we would put our baby down at night and we would write letters in our basement. It was here again, getting anything off the ground is a lot of work. Getting the plane off the ground, you burn a lot of fuel, but once you get to 30,000 feet, you can just float up there. So it was a lot of work getting this engine running. And let me tell you a fatal mistake that I made. From 2013, the end of 2013, when I did those 2 deals almost effortlessly, I took a break until 2015. Because I was going to college. I was becoming an Army officer. I was really focused on that. And then I made myself a promise when my feet touched the ground in Colorado, I was going to pick my wholesaling company back up off the ground. And we did. We started writing letters. I did a deal on 320 South Hancock in Colorado Springs. I got the property for $55,000 and I wholesaled it for right at $65,000. I made a quick $10,000 assignment fee. What's going to blow your mind today, a few years later, 2021, we're actually doing a joint venture with a wholesaler down the street from this very same house. And it's now under contract for $300 and something thousand. And we're gonna joint venture with her. We're gonna find a buyer. We're probably gonna make a $40,000 assignment fee and split that with her. So that's what our business has morphed in today, where people now call us to wholesale land, to wholesale houses, where I'm getting leads for free. People are just seeing what we're doing and they're coming to us with the deals. But how do we do that? We keep that engine going. We're mailing, we're marketing, we're on TV, we're on the radio, but I didn't start there. One channel turned to the next. We started with door knocking, and then it became mailing consistently. And at the end of the day, it picks up and it builds up momentum. The whole video is about what can a wholesaler make. It's the sky's the limit. It's really hard for me to say exactly what you can make. We have done over 280 something land deals. We're being paid every single month 100 times. And what do I mean by that? We have sold 100 parcels of land where people are paying us every month, sometimes for 5 years, sometimes for 7 years, sometimes for 30 years on land parcels, which is really cool. It allows me and my team to have a passive income, a financial freedom that has changed our life. So I mentioned the Land Sharks training course. If you're looking to build a business or start a business that serves you, your family, and eventually others, and what do I mean by eventually others, is you're gonna hire people, you're gonna tithe, you're gonna donate. That's where the eventually others comes in. Head on down to thelandsharks.com. There's a link below in the description. You can find it. Schedule a call with my team. We'll see what your real estate goals are. And if we feel like we're a great fit, I'd be honored to coach you.